Chit Chat Kit Kats. Well, I just came across, I think, one of the saddest things I've seen. It was this guy's channel, and he was talking about his near-death experience, where left the body, was on the other side, felt all the love of God and all of that experience. You know, and all of that sounded really good. But he comes back and you look at the rest of his channel. He's down the rabbit hole, QAnon stuff. Why are they hating the right? Why are they, you know, Fauci was over there in Ukraine and they were doing the Wuhan stuff. And I mean, just, and you're looking at this going, and then he was crying about, well, when you feel that absolute love there and then you come back and people are hating on you and it's the worst thing, and he's, you know, bitching about women and how did they get on the pedestal? They haven't earned anything. The men have done it all. And you're just listening to this going, oh my God. How can you go to the other side and feel that love and know there's no male, no female, okay? And come back into that derogatory hater mentality. Really, I don't understand how that can happen. I think he wanted to stay on the other side, and he said he felt this great big hand put him back in his body. And I think he's just pissed to the max. Because he said these beings had told him, you've got to go back and there's something you've got to do and you'll know it when it comes. He said, well, I don't know it. I don't, you know, he's still saying he didn't know what it was. So, you know, I'm wondering what type of beings that he saw, because he's come back and just really gravitated to angst and anger and vilification, and it's self-justifying, meism. I'm going my way. I'm doing my thing. You know, the big ego trip and hatred of women. Just some of the things this guy was saying. It was, you know, and the same thing, the deep state conspiracy and what we were doing in Ukraine, and there was secret labs, and, you know, the guy's really off on a bender. So, you know, again, one of the saddest things I have ever come across. Now, the difference with what it was experienced here and what's the near death, they're on the other side and they're still seeing, you know, the world of duality, basically, but they are feeling the oneness of things, okay? And came back and was, you know, still in the realm of duality. So what happens when you go through that ego dismantling? The mind stills, okay? The mind stills. And in that point, you see the divine is, it's singular, okay? There is no other. So that's the difference between the near-death experience, where one goes to the other side, and it's still a realm of duality, but there is so much more of that feeling of oneness. Okay. Now, there are those that can have the nirvikalpa samadhi that, experience that, but if they come back and the mind does not still, they can come back and become very ego-centered. I'm divine, I'm God, that route. And that can be a very dangerous thing. So anyway, that's what I ran across today. At first, I was listening to this guy's thing, and it was wonderful. What happened when he had left the body and died for that time, had that near-death experience. But then he came back. He was angry, I think, that he came back. And then you see this outpouring, and you watch these videos that he's made, and it's just increasingly angrier and angrier and angrier. And, saying that the left is communist and this and that, and it just, wow. It's really mind-boggling to think somebody can go have near-death experience and see that unconditional love on the other side and come back and become so fueled with anger and angst and vilification and I really hope that something turns this guy around. Really, I do. Because that was, wow. Anyway, I'm going to leave this here. Most people that have the near death, they come back and they are, they're no longer afraid of death, that's for sure. And they do see that difference. Now, most time they come back by their choice because they see that there's something they need to, experience here. They have their family to take care of or something like that. But, this one was really a surprise. I have to really say this was really a surprise, seeing what happened. Now, I'm wondering, when he was there on the other side, then he was going towards this golden city. And these three beings, he said, showed up. And they were kind of like this, kind of didn't have a shape, and then they started taking on shape, and their eyes were pitch black and devoid. And then they took on like a human shape. And told him he had to go back because there was something he had to do. And he'd know it when it happened. Okay. Now, my wonder is, were these fallen angels? Were these... Okay. That's my wonder on this. Because something is very odd. with his story, and then coming back and being in that so much anger and angst and just miserable. Yeah, just miserable. Blaming women and blaming, that is not somebody that's been transformed with love through that experience. So anyway, just something that was really kind of shocking for me today to hear what happened with this guy. Yeah. I'm going to leave this here. See you online.